A good Saturday morning, everyone. Hope everybody's weekend is getting off to a good start. I'm still working on my coffee. Everybody like my coffee cup? Tell ya, it's got a rat terrier. I think it's a rat terrier. It looks like a rat terrier. Looks like my Izzy girl. Still working on this cup of coffee. And today's lipstick is brought to you by Red Aspen. It's actually just a gloss. It is the color fuchsia. I try to share that each day. But I didn't feel like doing a lipstick right away. And I thought, oh, that's a pretty color. We'll just slap some of that on today. So there we are. Anyway, I wanted to do a video today on, for those who know me, I already know why my voice is the way it is. Excuse me. Why my voice is the way it is. And if not, then I'm about to fill you in. Which some of y'all might know me from years ago and don't know why my voice now sounds like this. Maybe we grew up together and you think, I don't remember her sounding like that. I didn't. Till almost 9 years ago. The scar, if we can see it, this big old scar here. I used to tell everybody when I was stuck out a lot, when I was fresh yet, I used to tell everybody I tried to OJ me, from O.J. Simpson. But that's what I used to do. I used to tell people that when they would kind of look at me. But reality was, almost 9 years ago, I had to have my thyroid removed. And how it all started is I had this cough that just was like it was like choking me out. I would just cough so hard and it just came out of like nowhere and just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I thought I had like pneumonia or bronchitis or something. It was, if I remember correctly, it was in the springtime, like when everything was blooming. I lived up in the Northwest then, and what was it, the Northwest? I think that's what it's called. I lived in Michigan back then. I am not 100% yet today because I'm still working on my coffee. But anyway, I lived in Michigan, and things are blooming, and you get allergies and such up there at that time of the year. So I just thought it had moved from allergies into my chest, and that's why I was choking and coughing, and oh, it was terrible. So I called my doctor and said, I think I might have pneumonia, but if you need me to come in, and I thought, what's the sense of going in for him to send me for an x-ray? So he said, no, let's send you over for a chest x-ray. So he did, and the x-ray came back. It wasn't my lungs. Well, at first they thought they seen something like at the top, but they needed like to do a little further testing, but it wasn't pneumonia or anything. So they sent me, I believe it was for a CT scan, came next. And that's where they found out it was my thyroid. I had a large thyroid goiter on there with several of the little nodules on there. So after that, then they had to proceed to, I think the biopsy was the next step. And they had to go in and biopsy him to make sure that it wasn't thyroid cancer that I had, which, thank you, Jesus, it was not thyroid cancer. It was just a goiter. It just had gone crazy, which for like 5 years prior to that, I would go in to the doctor for, various things and yearly checkups and whatnot. And over that time, there had been like 2 different doctors that I had seen because we had moved from one area to another. And they both had said, I'm pretty sure you're having thyroid issues. And they would run the thyroid test, and lo and behold, they'd be in normal range. So they didn't think it was anything thyroid related. And it was like every year they'd be like, how long has it been since we checked your thyroid? Check it. Oh, it's in normal range. Can't be the thyroid. Well, then all of a sudden, it's the thyroid. So they they did the biopsy. It wasn't cancerous, and they sent me to a surgeon to see, what he was gonna recommend. Which generally, when you see a surgeon, I think that's probably they figure it's gonna be surgery. So, sure enough, he said that I, did need to have that removed, and he was checking the parathyroids, which at that point I wasn't even sure. I'm like, what is that? And they have something to do, you have 4 of them, and they're around your thyroid, and they have something to do with how your body absorbs calcium, I guess. So I guess that's, now I don't hold me to that, I could be wrong, I'm not a medical person, but I thought if I remember correctly, and it was something to do with calcium. So he did the test for, to check on my parathyroids, because he was pretty sure that I was having some issue there. And he came back, he said, yeah, one of them is probably going to have to come out. He said, don't worry, as long as you have a parathyroid, you can live. So he said, removing one of the 4 shouldn't be a problem. He was going to check more when he got in there. But, so surgery came, surgery went, they removed the whole thyroid and the one parathyroid that had gone rogue, and there was a second one, both of them on my right side of my thyroid. They had to remove both of those. The other one had became entangled into the thyroid goiter thing, and so they had to take those 2 out. So I came through the surgery, and of course you're all taped up, and they have like a drain tube on you and stuff, and I felt really bad later in that day, and I thought, wow, I don't feel right. And so I was gonna buzz the nurse to ask her, is this normal, or should we be concerned about the way I'm feeling? And I had no call light. I had nothing there. They forgot to give it to me, I guess. So, of course, I'm having, my throat was really, I sounded like I had smoked 6 packs of cigarettes, even though I've never smoked. I sounded like I had smoked 6 packs of cigarettes in a really, really raspy voice. Much worse than what it is now. But anyway, I had a roommate on the other side of the curtain, and I was able to get a hold of her, and ask her, can you just buzz the nurse, because I don't have any way of getting a hold of them. And so she did, and they came, and, I don't know, I don't honestly remember the whole thing. So I'm assuming either they gave me medicine or whatever. I was okay anyway. They gave me my call light and went on. The next day, the doctor come in to see me because I had to stay overnight. The next day, the surgeon come in, and he was training people, or he had like some students with him. And I had asked him, because I wanted to go home, so I had been up walking, and it was very painful because I still had an IV needle thing stuck in my ankle. And so I had asked him I said, good, are they going to remove that? Because he told me, I was kind of concerned about your voice, but you're going to be okay. It's going to come back. Which, prior to surgery, they tell you, there is a slight risk. We could damage your vocal cords in there, but don't worry. It never happens. I'm very confident in my work, and I've never had this happen, so you don't have to worry. There's nothing to worry about. So he tells me, I was a little concerned because of the way the anesthesiologist had tubed me for surgery, but he said, it'll come back, don't worry, in a few weeks you'll be back to normal. I said, oh, okay. Can you get the IV out of my ankle? And he kind of seemed perplexed. He goes, what do you mean IV? Well, when I showed him, he said, they were supposed to remove that before you left recovery. Well, they did not. So that got removed, and I went home and kept thinking, okay, voice is going to come back eventually. Well, down the road, they finally, my family doctor had sent me to see a ear, nose, and throat person, and he had went down, scoped me down my throat, and he said, nope, he said, your right vocal cord is paralyzed. So he said, they ain't going to change. It's going to be like that. So I've kind of grown used to it now. It's just the way it is. Matter of fact, I have one, I come across, I don't remember where it was at, but it was a video of me talking, and it was just one little clip. I think I said, Izzy, stop that, or Izzy. And it was just one little clip, and it was my old voice, and I was like, oh my gosh. And even Dave heard it, and he's like, I don't remember you sounding like that. So it's so weird. You can have your voice for, close to most of your life, and it changes, and after a while you kind of forget what your voice really sounded like. And I haven't found, I had more videos of that, but we had a house fire at one time and we lost all that stuff, so I don't have any of those, but I do have, my voice sounds like this, and I do have where I get winded real easy from this. I'm sure my weight doesn't help with matters either with the winded part, but I know it was increasingly bad. That was the first time I had my surgery in the fall, and then come spring when it was nice, I thought, oh, I'm gonna go out and get a nice walk in. And we lived in town, I used to be able to walk the block, like nothing. And I made it to the corner, which was half a block, and I was just a huffing and a puffing, and I thought, what is wrong with me? Oh my gosh. The winter had not been kind. And it actually, I guess it's something to do with this, because it's never really, my weight's gone down a little, it's gone up a little. It doesn't seem to matter. I still have that issue. And my throat hurts if I talk. Usually I can get these videos out, and as long as I don't talk much the rest of the day, I'm okay. But if I have to talk very often throughout the day, my throat gets more and more sore, and it's always in this area is where I get a sore throat. I very rarely ever have a sore throat like back by my tonsils or anything. It's always right in here. So that's where I always feel it first anyway. And if I get dry, a lot of times I have either my coffee with me, or after I have a cup of coffee in the morning after that, I switch to, either tea, diet soda, something, lemonade, something, whatever I'm drinking, water, Gatorade, because we live where I'm not a sweating person, but I tell you, living in Texas, even the people that don't sweat. So, yeah, I'm always got some kind of drink with me, because that seems to help. But I do get, strangely enough, I do get compliments on my voice from time to time. That's what made me think about doing the video today. I had one yesterday at a delivery to a college kid, and I was explaining that I was having a hard time finding his location, because he was at the college, which, well, actually, it was housing for college kids, and I've always delivered to the one side of the building. Didn't even know there was parking on the other side, because you have to go out to the main road, go down a ways, and you have to follow all these little signs, and takes you back in and around, which normally traffic is too crazy out there to be watching for little signs. But now that most of the college kids are gone home for the summer, traffic isn't quite as bad. Like, oh, I never saw those signs there before. So anyway, I was explaining to him, and not only that, on that side of the building, I only drove up there because there was the parking lot, and then there was like construction people parked, and there was like the campus police car was parked there. So I'm like, okay, I got to get up close to this building. So I drove up, but it was like a hump. And then after I got up, I thought, oh my gosh, am I on the sidewalk? I drive it on the sidewalk. So that's what I told the kid. He said it's very confusing in there. I said, well, I didn't know I was on the sidewalk. But then the other side was just normal. So I'm like, okay, this must be like the street where maybe the bus goes through. I don't know. But anyway, I was explaining to him that, and he says, I just love your voice. I told him, I said, it's because of a thyroid surgery that didn't go well. Which then he felt really bad. He's like, oh my gosh, well, that was so rude of me to say that to you after. I said, no, you're fine, you're fine. But I do get people that compliment me on my voice. I'm not sure exactly why. My husband's always bewildered by that. He's like, really? They liked your voice? I'm like, well, they tell me. And I had it up in Michigan. I'd have people compliment me on it, and I've had it down here, but I don't know. I just get compliments sometimes. And I know my husband used to tell me I sounded like a cartoon character, but I don't know. So whether you like it or you hate it, I'm stuck with it. I've just gotten used to it over the years. I'm used to the sore throats. I'm used to not breathing like I used to. Boy, you miss breathing normal when you don't have it anymore. Must be what people with like COPD and that kind of stuff. I wonder, they must just think, man, I had it so good when I could breathe normal. Because you do, you miss breathing when you don't have the full capacity anymore. And I did do, I went to like voice therapy, and that was kind of, in my opinion, a waste of money. Maybe it was just the voice therapist I went to. There's really nothing, from what I can understand, they can do. Now, I did read one time, and this has been quite a few years ago, that they could inject something into the paralyzed vocal cord, that they could like adjust it so that it's more in a spot that is better for the voice, because I have a hard time with volume. I can't over talk children or any other person. I going through a drive-through, they can never hear me. Talking on the phone, I don't talk on the phone unless I absolutely have to, because they can never hear me. People just can't hear me. I don't have volume. It's not. I always say I can't win an argument because I can't yell. I mean, I can technically yell, but it's not. If the other person yells louder, I can't beat them. So, there's those kind of things, but I guess they can inject that, but I'm so nervous. And if you notice just sometimes when I breathe in, it's like it pops open in there or it closes or something, and I sound like I'm gasping for air. It just does that on occasions, out of the blue. But I'm always nervous about having anything else done with that, because if I understand correctly, if they paralyze both sides, you have a tracheotomy for the rest of your life. And I really don't want to go there. I'd rather have these issues that I have than have that. So, because at least I have some voice. So, I do some praying about it, that, because a week or so ago, I was singing with the radio in my car, and which I wouldn't do in front of people, but, in my car by myself, I can pretend that I sound halfway normal. And at first, just a split second, it's like, like when a teenage boy, when his voice cracks and like changes just for a split second, mine did that. And I was like, whoa, that sounded like my old voice if I remember correctly. And it was really, and it just happened that once, and it was just that split second. But it was almost like I was trying to come back, and I thought, oh, maybe I just had like a frog in my throat type thing, So I don't know. It's never done it since. Might have been a fluke. I don't know. A lot of allergies. Maybe it was something to do with just something in my throat that day. I don't know. I have a hard time believing anything is ever going to change with it because of the fact it's been, in September it'll be 9 years that it's been like this. So it's just the way the lipstick lady is now. This is my voice. Better for better, for worse, this is it. So, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to hop on here because if any of y'all have been watching my videos that know me from the past, or wonder, because a lot of people just assume this has always been my voice. You know, they're like, because people will say something about, oh, you have the cutest voice. And I'm like, well, it's because of thyroid. And they're like, really? I just thought that's how your voice was. It's like, no, it's not. And that's why I have a hard time. I need to get a microphone because I notice rewatching my videos, sometimes it's hard to hear me, and I apologize. I do need to get a microphone because I have a hard time speaking loud enough for it to pick up, because I just use my cell phone for these videos, so I have a hard enough time getting my voice to pick up on there. So that will be coming down the road here. I will get a microphone, and so that it helps. But I do want to thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, consider liking and subscribing to my video. I appreciate it. And then you'll be able to, if you turn the notifications on, it'll let you know when I put out a new one. I try to do some kind of something each day. Yeah, I can't guarantee it'll always be every day because, you know, life happens. Sometimes I just don't get a chance to get in here and take a few minutes for myself. But it is Saturday. It's time for me to get off here and get out there and take people their food. I don't know if y'all heard it. It must have been a dumpster. I don't know what that loud noise was. But I hope you all have a great rest of your Saturday. Stay safe. I see people up north, like Michigan, Wisconsin, middle of the country. Y'all are getting some pretty nasty weather. Stuff I always thought only Texas got, but we've been either getting clouds that look like it's going to storm that never do, or we get a little bit of rain here and there. But thankfully, we haven't had any bad weather in quite some time. So, but I see y'all are getting some. So stay safe, everyone, and hope you get a chance to go out and enjoy your Saturday. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you again real soon here in the next one. Bye, everyone.